All right. Welcome to week 4 of the 2018 GTHub podcast. I am once again your host, Forza R18. Joining us stealthily in the background is Joshua Jones Commentary, who cannot speak because he's feeling a bit under the weather, but he's here with us. That sighing was once again a Roblo97.
Hi.
And joining us again in a very, very long time is our sole Austrian, Penta.
Guten Abend.
Don't start saying things in German, Rob.
I never said anything in German, so...
I know, I was preventing you from doing so, because I know you so well. Yes, but we shall start with the biggest race that happened over the weekend, which is the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Or should I say the 56th Rolex 24 at Daytona. Yes. And I know I saw all of it. I assume a majority of you saw some of it.
Yeah, I caught most of it apart from 1 hour where I was actually off buying a coffee machine.
And the 4 hours you were asleep, yes.
Yeah, just a little over 4 hours I was catching up
sleeping
on sleep at 5 o'clock in the morning, but yeah, it was a brilliant race in the sense that there were a lot fewer cautions than certainly I was expecting over the duration of the race.
Yes, there were only, 3 full-course cautions? 4?
Yeah.
Okay, wow, even fewer than I was expecting. Yeah, only 4, and it was a good old-fashioned endurance race again, unlike previous years where it was flat out and everyone just sort of went, when are we going to calm down for a bit? But no, it was really relaxing racing throughout the event. However, there was one big glaring issue that happened throughout the race, and that was
right rear punctures
of the Continental tires. Yes, and,
For GT sandbagging?
no, that was the second biggest issue, but that's always an issue regardless of the race, actually, in GTE. Well, was it really well, I guess technically it was sandbagging. Yeah, it was sandbagging.
Well, we did see the sandbag spilled across the track at one point, so...
Oh, the metaphorical sandbag became real, actually, yes.
Yes. Even if that had actually come from behind an advertising hoarding that has been ploughed through, but never mind.
Yes. I desperately want someone to have a picture of the Ford GT going by the sandbag, going, oh, the sand is falling out. Someone needs to have a picture of that somewhere, but yeah, the biggest issue of the race was definitely the Continentals giving up. In an amazing statistic that I saw, actually, guess how many cars didn't have a tire puncture in the prototype prototype running?
Right, I know the number 5 didn't, the Core Autosport Areca didn't, and I think maybe 2 other cars didn't get punctures.
Oh, so you were good, actually. It was the number 54 Core Autosport Oreca, the Acura Team Penske cars, being Penske perfect, and the winning Cadillac did not have a puncture, but they were the only ones in prototypes to not have issues.
And some cars got hit more than once. The Lance Stroll, Felix Rosenqvist, Daniel Cadet, and Robin Freins. Jackie Chan DC Racing Jota car, I think, had 3 punctures, and Wayne Taylor Racing had...
I was just going to say, Wayne Taylor had about 9.
How many.
That's why they retired.
Yeah.
It wasn't because the car was broken. They retired their car because they kept having punctures. Out of safety, they retired. Which is a rather, big
odd
issue.
Reason.
Yeah. The Continental felt so inclined about this issue that they actually released a statement about they basically said that all punctures have occurred when teams attempted to double stint their tires, something not largely seen in recent years in the race. And we have had no issues from teams that have followed our recommendations, except from Action Express and Wayne Taylor Racing, who we are working with to understand the root cause. I don't understand why this happened, because it was only weirdly in the prototypes, because the GT cars, they had no blowouts, oddly enough. I don't understand it. And it's not like they can address these problems because, well, this is the last year that Continental is supplying IMSA as a sole tire supplier, so it's kind of like a rock and a hard place kind of thing. Because they're not coming back next year. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah, definitely. Continuing with the trend from Dubai with the punctures.
Yes, but the
It's a
Lamborghini
curse.
wasn't one of them. But yes, we'll get onto that Lamborghini a bit later.
Yes, it's also worth noting that the lack of caution actually meant that the distance record was completely smashed. It was the first time over 800 laps had been completed at the Rolex 24 in history. So, yeah, it was pretty cool that the top 15 cars actually broke the previous distance record, including the Lance Stroll, Robin Freins, Danny Juncadella, and Felix Rosenqvist. Jackie Chan DC Racing by Jota car, which, even though it was 30-something laps off the lead lap by the end of the race, still beat the distance record, as did the top 4 in the GTLM class.
Yeah, which is quite remarkable, really. Considering the 5th place GTLM car was only, and this 5th and 6th place GTLM cars were only 2 laps off from beating the distance record.
I think it was
remarkable.
It's one of the most relentless 24-hour races I've seen.
Yeah, it was a flat out affair from the beginning.
Except for the 58.
Yeah, well, that was the one of the more odder incidents of the race. The poor old Robert Renauer, who apparently was not mechanical failure, as he admitted later on. It was just him losing it on cold tires on the formation lap, which is absolutely
such a driver.
For such an experienced guy. But I guess there's just times for everything, really. And sadly, the lineup of the number 58 Wright Motorsports Porsche just did not even get to start the race. They started 2 hours behind everyone. Which is just remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't the only ones to have had a bit of a rubbish time of it. Both the ESM Nissans retired quite soon after each other. I think one blew an engine, the other done a gearbox.
It does portend well for the 58, though, considering last season, Christina Nielsen, defending her title, didn't finish the Rolex 24 and still won the title. So maybe she's just, doing her title run again. Just looking on the bright side.
And both of the Mazdas were just constantly in and out the pits with all manner of issues, from gearboxes to punctures to one of the cars catching fire.
What are the ones that were pumping water into to keep from blowing up?
And engine issues were a prevailing thing over the weekend, because the Mazda's engine blew up on the 55 in spectacular fashion. Poor Mazda becoming a barbecue.
Just as I happened to go downstairs and get lunch as well.
Yeah, so kind of ironically. Yes. The 77 retired, which is the second Mazda Team Yost car, retired with gearbox issues. So it wasn't an engine problem for the 77. The number 2 had a gearbox issue, and the 22 had engine issues. So both of the Japanese cars actually, I say both. There's a third Japanese car. The only car that did not have engine issues was the surprise Acura, which is a Honda.
It's a minivan engine.
It's the tested, tried and true Honda
Minivan engine.
V6 that's in the back of the NSX, the RDX, the MDX, the TLX, every Acura with an X in it. Yeah, that's the tried tested engine for them, and it worked apart from the alternator.
Yeah.
Which is just
not even
annoying. That
alternator.
ruined. Well, it's funny though, because every time an LMP2 engine falters, it's not the Gibson engine that fails; it's an alternator. So, go figure, I guess. I don't know.
Just shows that Gibson
LMP2 thrown away by LMP2 engines. Alternators are their Achilles heel for some reason.
Yes.
It was that glorious airplane-like lights at the back that caused that. 100% sure.
Lights, yes.
It's just the most stereotypically Penske thing you could imagine. If you wanted a visual metaphor, if you wanted a visual metaphor for Penske, no, I just accidentally waxed my headset clean off.
Thing, really.
I'm still standing, so. But yeah, it was. If you wanted a visual metaphor for Penske Perfect, so then that was it.
Yes, the Penske Perfect light I'm going to dub, because I demand supplementary regulation for all LMP2 cars and LMP1 cars. Henceforth, going forward, must have the Penske light on the rear tail fin, because it's just simply amazing.
Yeah.
Try and find a photo of it where you can actually see it.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's just the most wonderful thing I've ever seen. Like, just, it's so stupid, but stupidly perfect. It's amazing.
In other news, the Whelen Engineering Racing Cadillac saw Stuart Middleton beat his own teammates Felipe Nasser's record, highest result for a Whelen Sunoco Challenge winner.
I'm told that Michelin tires had issues as well. When did they have Michelin issues?
It was when Bill Aublin in the M8 had the tyre blowout on the banking, the front tyre.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
quite
yes,
dramatic,
that's right.
actually.
Yes. Somehow saved it from going into the wall. Yes, I remember now.
In fairness, that was more due to Bill Aublin being Bill Aublin than
than anyone else. The quick hands of Bill Auberlin, who is now the longest running North American endurance driver, with the retirement of one Mr. Hyde of my family at home, Scott Brewer.
Yes. I was going to say hi to my family
Speaking
at home.
on that note, though, did you see or did you hear what they gave him as a parting gift? Daytona did.
Oh, let's see. Was it a course sample of track?
Yes, and a memento book of pictures. Yes, they gave him a course sample of start-finish line.
Ah, that's nice.
I haven't seen pictures of it, but they did give him a course sample of the start-finish line. Yes, but I can't. Was that the only? Oh no, the Reese car had a right rear puncture too, didn't they? If I'm remembering correctly.
Did they?
I think they did.
Well, one of the Yachty did.
I just don't know which one.
I was going to say, speaking of Reese, we can actually segue quite nicely here into
Hang
a
on,
press conference.
Don't go into news past the Rolex 24, please. I'd like to sum it up, be nice and neat and tidy and fun.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Yes, apologize profusely.
I offer my deepest, darkest apologies.
There we go. I'll take that. That works.
Well, the Land Motorsport Audi had a puncture as well late into the night.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had like a rain tire on or something like that.
Oh no, that wasn't Land. That was someone had to come in and replace a right rear with a rain tire because they ran out of tires. But I can't remember who that was.
I think it was the Land Motorsport Audi because it was stopped or running slow at some point.
Possibly, I can't remember. Speaking of the land car, that was the odd penalty of the race, which were I still can't explain it. BOP issues, falling outside of its allowed BOP for some bizarre reason that I can't seem to understand really, because it was something to. It wasn't the car that was out of BOP. It was the
fuel.
It was the refueling rig that was apparently out of. Or as IMSA puts it, it was a BOP infringement due to a consistent and beneficial advantage in refueling times to the GTD class average.
I'm telling you, they pulled a Whittingham brothers.
Well, I don't understand how this is possible, because their equipment had to have been inspected before the race. So did someone just drop the ball and they go, wait a minute, this is not working? Because they obviously have in-race timing, which told them, this isn't going to how we have it written down here. So they penalized them in the 10th hour of the race. But this penalty had been brewing for, like, I think since the beginning of the race, they were probably seeing it. And then they finally BOP'd them with 5 minutes of stop and hold. But they were running way ahead of everyone before that.
I think they had a whole lap on the class at that point.
Which is quite ironic, actually, because they finished 7th in class, 1 lap down of the leader. So, yeah, quite a big drop in performance. They got behind and could not catch up after that. And that's not down to the car or to the driver lineup. It's just the race was just unforgiving. With once you fell behind, you couldn't regain any time. It's just I can't understand why that this was allowed to go through, but
yeah, you never know what they.
Because apparently IMSA enforced a 40-second refueling advantage for GTD in the race, and the other Audi, the other Audi of Magnus Racing, had no issue with their refueling. So, and the car for land cleared over post-race inspections. So it wasn't an issue with the car; it was something to do with the refueling rig itself. And I don't. IMSA has lots of questions to answer to people after this is over, that's for sure.
Maybe they tampered with it after the inspection, I don't know.
Well, then they would have had the seal tampered with, because all their stuff is... All their stuff is inspected and has a seal on it, but I don't know.
Maybe somebody just gave them another seal.
What OCD? I don't have no OCD. Leave me alone, whoever's talking about me in the chat.
Scrimpy.
Oh, of course it's Scrimpy. Damn you, Scrimpy. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying before I got distracted. Yeah, but the Land Audi had the worst penalty of the race. The Continental tires were blowing up. The Mazdas were on fire. The Nissans had no fire in their engine. The Cadillacs were doing their best to become a smolter, or a smelter, but nothing happened there, annoyingly, because apparently their engines are made with magic. Yeah, because they had to stop both of them. The number 5 and number 31 Cadillacs came in behind the wall, pumped pressurized water into the system to cool down the engines, and they just kept chugging along. Without any issues. I don't know how to explain that one really. But
voodoo magic.
Apparently GM built some fantastic engine blocks, because the only engine that melted down was the number 90. And the number 10 didn't run long enough to have any of those issues. So, I don't know. But yeah, the DPIs had a horrific race, and that allowed the leading WEC P2 to be the Number 54, Core Autosports, Oracle 7 Gibson.
With an
John
amateur
Bennett.
driver.
Yes, with an actual AM, who's a very handy AM. Of John Bennett, Colin Braun, Romain Dumas, and Loic Duval. To finish third overall. And best of the WEC P2s. and coming into the weekend, I never had a WEC P2 penciled in to be on the overall podium. And I'm pretty sure no one else did either.
I did not.
No. I mean, I would have picked Core to be the best of the WEC P2s, but certainly not third overall on the same lap as the two DPIs in front of it. But, you know, hey, apparently the Daytona 24 this year turned into Le Mans of last season. So, I don't know. But wrapping this up with a bow, Action Express Racing claimed their third Rolex 24 win, breaking the distance record in the process, like Rob mentioned. BMW had an awful race with their tire troubles on the 20. Was it 25 or the 24?
I think the 25.
Okay, yeah, but they had a troublesome debut with from the get-go, with the number 24 having electrical issues and a splitter delamination in Thursday's practices, preventing the car from even running laps on Thursday, which is a rather odd thing to have failing, but yeah. Poor old Ricky Taylor had the flu all weeks and only completed an outlap and an in-lap in final practice in order for him to even run in the race. It was a drama-filled affair from all sorts of places, but the number one finisher, or the first overall, was the number 5 Mustang Sampling Racing Cadillac DPI VR of Felipe Albuquerque, Joao Barbosa, and Christian Fittipaldi on 808 laps over the second Action Express number 31 Wheel and Engineering Racing Cadillac DPI VR of Felipe Nazar, Eric Curran, Mike Conway, and the aforementioned Stuart Middleton, who finished only a minute and 10 back from the number 5.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes, the top Acura was 9th with the number 7 Acura Team Penske ARX-05 of Elio Castroneves, Sick Boy Ricky Taylor, and Graham Rahal, 15 laps behind the overall leader. The Mazdas were 16th, and the top Mazda was 16th, and the top Nissan was 18th. Both did not finish with engine gremlins. Now we get to the GTLM class, which was pretty much just a Ford whitewash from start to finish, really. What
Nick
do we
Tandy
say?
Crashed the 911.
Rather magnificently, yes.
Yes.
And then we got to witness his remarkable drive through the paddock going, where the hell is he going? Oh, he's driving all the way back around to his garage.
Taking a scenic route.
Yeah.
Yes. And he might as well, really. It's not like he was actually going to be winning anything. So
That's true.
I'll just take a nice fancy Sunday drive. Yes. But the number 67 Ford Chip Ganassi Racing, Ford GT, of Ryan Briscoe, Richard Westbrook, and Scott Dixon, on 783 laps, won GTLM, ahead of its sister car, the number 66, of Joey Hand, Dirk Mueller, and Sebastian Bourdais. And the salvaging honor for the rest of the GTLM field was the number 3 Corvette Racing, Corvette C7R, of Jan Magnussen, Antonio Garcia, and Mike Rockefeller, just 2 laps off the GTLM lead. The top Ferrari and lone Ferrari was the Risi guys, number 62 Risi Competizione, Ferrari 488 GTE, of Tony Villander, Alessandro Pierguidi, and James Collado. The top Porsche was 6th, the 912 Porsche GT team, 911 RSR, of Lawrence Earl Bamber and Gianmaria Bruni. And the 24 salvaged BMW's Honor to finish 7th. Very, very many laps back. And not in contention at all in GTLM.
35.
Yes. Very, very bad debut for the M8 GTE.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, and also some gentleman called Fernando took part in the race.
Yes.
Few punctures.
Just a
Some
bit, you
brake
think?
issues.
Yes.
Some kid
Anything
called
that
Lando
could go-
driving quickly.
Anything that could go wrong went wrong with the United Autosports team. It seems to be.
God, he is cursed, that guy is, seriously.
Well, oddly enough, it wasn't when Fernando was at the wheel when issues were happening. It was all when his other teammate was at the wheel.
There was the brake issue where he done the first sector in 10 seconds.
Sorry, say again?
There's when he had the brake issue in the first sector, which meant he done a first sector time of 10 seconds. Because he just straight lines the entirety of the infield.
Oh, so he was at the wheel when it had the brake issue. Okay, I didn't know who was at the wheel at the time. I thought it was Norris.
No, because they had a puncture and Phil Hansen drove it a bit
he hopped
quickly.
Out, and then poor old Lando Norris had to hop in and just sit there with a look on his face like, I have to sit in the garage for some reason. Like, poor guy.
A-level revision work seems fun now.
On his face, just going, I'd rather be sleeping right now.
Yeah. It was
That's the wrong picture, Josh. Just sorry. Technical difficulties here on the stream.
Yeah, wrong picture.
However, on that note, Dan. There it is. There it is. There's the Penske perfectness. Yes.
Yes.
Bask in it, gentlemen. Bask in its perfection. Yes.
I'm currently basking in a green car at the moment.
A green car? Oh, you mean Kermit the Frog? No, I'm just kidding. In all fairness.
As I'm sure Penta would be quite happy to mention who won GTD.
Oh,
yes.
I gladly take the honors.
Would you like to announce the honors? Yes.
Of course. Coming to the GTD class, number 1 class winner is the number 11 Grasser Racing Team Lamborghini Huracan GT3 with Mirko Bortolotti at the wheel during the end. Also Rolf Inaken, Frank Pereira, and Rick Breukers. Which was a fabulous one.
Breukers was in the 11?
Yeah.
Him and Inaken were silvers, and Bortolotti and Pereira were like the gold, platinum graded drivers.
Scoring does not have him listed in the 11.
Entry. I've got the photo of the car up now. I can see Bortolotti and Inaken, Breukers and Pereira on the car.
Okay. Okay. No, that's one of the things that's there are so many drivers. They don't fit on the entry blank. Okay, I see. That's what that is. All right, moving on. Yes.
With their first North American 24-hour win?
His first 24-hour win in general for the Huracan.
I think they won one of the Creventic series, though. Races.
First 24-hour race win for the Huracan GT3, yes. Actually, I think first 24-hour win in general for a Lamborghini GT3 car, actually, now that I think about it. Because the Ryder car didn't win any 24-hour races either.
I don't know. I haven't watched much at that time.
It's okay, I'll forgive your blissful ignorance. Because if it's not GRT, it does not matter, yes.
Well, but they used to have the Ryder car before the Huracan GT3, so...
Ryder has made their own cars. They've never campaigned anything other than their own Gallardo's, yeah. They didn't even make an Otakon. They're not allowed to.
No, I was just saying before Crosser Racing Team had the Huracan, they had
Oh, yes.
Rider Lamborghini.
Yes, that's right. My bad. Yeah, but then you would know that because you're a fanboy. Yes.
Wow. I wouldn't call it fanboy.
Well, I'm not saying that. That's one Kazuo on the stream is, so, you know.
But he's wrong. He's always wrong.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, coming in second place of the GTD class was the number 86 Acura NSX from Michael Schenk Racing. With
Catherine Legg, Alvaro Parents, Trent Hinman, and one Mr. AJ Allmendinger, a former Rolex 24 winner. Yes. In the beautifully painted gray car. The gray graffiti Acura NSX GT3. I wonder if this gives them enough momentum to run a full season, hopefully.
Hope so.
Yes, because it would be a shame not to see Catherine Legg in a full season effort for the season. But finishing out the podium in GTD was the second of the, or actually, well, I guess technically it was the second, or third actually, because the other two Lamborghinis were the GRT cars, as the number 48 Paul Miller Racing Lamborghini Huracan GT3 of Brian Sellers, Melanie Snow?
Madison Snow.
Madison Snow, sorry.
Melanie Snow was his mum, I think, from memory.
That's, I think, one of his brothers, but yeah, or his mom, either one. I'm sorry, the result only says M Snow, so I've forgotten. Sorry, that's my bad. Andrea Caldarelli and Bryce Miller, and just barely beating out the number 33 Mercedes-AMG Team Rally Motorsports AMG GT3 of Ben Keating, Jeroen Bleekmolen, Adam Christodoulou, and Lucas Stoltz.
Which had a fabulous fight over first place for a while with the number 11.
Yeah, which was basically the race that everyone was looking for the entire 24 hours. It's going, everyone else sucks. Let's go look at GTD. Oh, it's the 33 battling the Lamborghinis again, which is basically what was happening, other than the Miguel Molina Ferrari leading GT3 for a bit.
Yeah, one of the most nerve-wracking 20 minutes of my life. Totally checkered flag. No. But yeah, it was one of the nicer battles of the 24 hours, I have to say.
Well, it was the only battle for the 24 hours, because the prototypes basically were just kind of like Cadillacs are leading, and the Acuras leading. And when the Acuras weren't leading, the Mazda's leading. And that lasted for that much.
About 2 laps, probably.
About 2 laps, yeah. And then the rest is just random WEC P2s leading laps because fuel mileage. We forgot. Fernando led some laps at the Rolex 24, and then Spanish newspapers exploded everywhere.
And the stream kept dying.
I think you could tell when he was leading or when he was doing well, because the stream just sort of went. Well, I would know, because I was watching a stable Fox television.
Yes.
You know,
just
for once,
you can get
for once the Americans had superior coverage for once. So eat it.
We forgot to mention something.
Well, we forget to mention a lot of things, but elaborate, please.
Well, about the GTD winner, the number 11.
No, of course we forgot to mention more about GRT, yes.
No, the most important thing is that they actually started from last place and came in first.
Oh, that's right, yeah, because
Yes,
they had their timing thrown out because they failed the stall test.
Exactly, whatever that means, I don't know.
I explained this to you earlier, but I'll explain it again on the podcast since you brought it up. The stall test is when they physically put a block in the engine, the airbox of the engine, and they make sure that the engine stalls. If the engine stalls, that means the engine can't get any more air than it's allowed, and that means it passes the test. But if it doesn't stall when they perform this test, that means something is letting air into the engine, thus getting more power. So that means that's what happened with that Lamborghini. Now, I'm not saying they cheated, but something wasn't right on it that it failed. So that's why it got its times disallowed. But it's pretty interesting watching them do that, because I've seen them do that at the post-race teardowns. It's really interesting. It's literally just them just either putting their hand over the airbox and then you just watch it go and shut off, or they put like a block on it. It's really cool. But
so
yeah,
they're just choking the engine.
Well, basically, it's like it's not entirely on. They have power to the engine. They just want to see if the engine will like turn over. Is basically what the test is. So like if it doesn't turn over, then it passes.
It technically could mean that they had some damage on the air intake. Or
it was loose or something, but usually on those circumstances, that's what happens when you don't pass the stall test.
Wow, thank you for clearing that up.
You're welcome.
Dankeschön.
I'm just a fountain of information. Yes.
Yes. If you don't know something, ask Forza.
And if I don't know, then ask someone who's more intelligent.
That's not possible. You're the most intelligent guy I know.
Oh, well. Flattery will get you everywhere, sir. Anyway, moving past our soppy love fest that's happening right now. There was another race that happened over the weekend, and that was the BMW Endurance Challenge at Daytona, which was for the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge, which was absolutely riveting for 4 hours. It was amazing.
I only saw part of it because
well, in fairness, you only saw part because you were drunk.
Yes. Yeah, I was due to meet... No, but I did only just get off the train at Basingstoke before the train was due to leave to head on to its next stop.
Oh yeah, you fell asleep on the train.
Yeah, I fell asleep on the train because I knew I had to get the train home and get home at a decent time, so I didn't have that long in the pub, so yeah, I kind of just went out and done as much as I possibly could.
Yes, in other words, I'm just going to start this hashtag Rob Problems, because, you know,
yes,
that's exactly what it is, yeah.
I might have to change my nickname on the group chat back to Tales from the Commute.
The Commute, yes.
Yes, usually because something does go wrong.
Oh, I'm just been informed that the IMSA has uploaded the Rolex 24 to their YouTube page. So those who've missed it can watch it later on after our podcast has concluded in its entirety.
In its entirety and without any crashes or buffering, thanks to the stream sort of not being able to cope with the amount of people trying to access it.
Yes.
Which, if you were in Andorra, was a problem.
Or Spain.
Or Spain. Yeah, just mainland Spain, that was the big problem, Rob, there, I think you'll find.
Yes.
Not just Spain, but yes. But anyway, the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge race was won by the number 28 RS1. Bear with me here. Porsche Cayman Club Sport GT4 MR of Dylan McIvern and Spencer Pumpelly. Yes, who were the pole sitters, but held on remarkably well with a 4-hour slugfest that finished ahead of the number 82 Bimmer World Racing BMW M4 GT4 of James Clay and Tyler Cook. And rounding out the podium of GS and overall was the number 15 Multimatic Motorsports Ford Mustang GT4 of Scott Maxwell, Cole Custer, and Ty Majeski. Or is it Majeski? Majeski.
Yes. And Ashley Freiberg got pit maneuvered by Austin Cindric.
Well, he paid for that dearly because he didn't finish the race. So, hey, karma. But speaking of Ashley Freiberg, her and Gosio Redest comeback through the field. They finished in the top 20, coming back, only being 2 laps off the lead lap.
Wow.
Yeah. They probably would have been higher if it wasn't for some mistake at pit strategy, but still a nice finish for someone that I was not expecting to see in the field, but yes. Winning the inaugural TCR race was the myriad of Compass Racing Audi RS3 LMS TCRs. The number 77, Brett Casey Jr. and Tom Long. And a nice day for Bimmer World Racing overall because they won ST with the number 81 BMW 328i of Nick Galante and Devin Jones. So yes, that rounds out that race of the weekend. Another interesting news item for a support race over the weekend was that Michael Fassbender won his first Ferrari Challenge race in race 1 of the Ferrari Challenges. A race in which I did not see. Hey, it was too early, man. I'm sorry.
I've seen it, kind of.
I simply couldn't really be all that bothered to watch it. In fact, speaking of Michael Fassbender, he was the narrator of a documentary from 5 years ago now called One. It's also known as One Life on the Limit, and it's about
a brilliant documentary.
It's
excellent.
I've got it on DVD at home. I've watched it. It's absolutely really fascinating documentary.
Yes. It's very pretty on Blu-ray as well, but yes.
Yeah.
Moving past that, I think that nicely puts a pin in that. And we can segue into some news that was made during the Rolex 24 with one Risi Competizione. As you were trying to mention earlier, Rob.
Yes. Risi Competizione are going to be running at Le Mans this year in GT and with one Mr. Ben Keating.
Yes. Now you know more about that because I have not read that article yet. So
I know barely more on that because I only really skim read the article.
Oh, never mind. Here, let me just pull up the article then. I rely on you for one thing, Rob, and you can't even get that done right. Jesus.
I'm surprised.
I give you responsibility for once, and you go and ruin it. This is why we can't have nice things, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I was the one in charge of the Christmas quiz, remember?
Yeah, see how well that turned out. So yes, I was correct in my initial statement. Anyway, like I said, Ben Keating won the 2017 Bob Aiken Award for being the, which is an automatic invitation to the Le Mans 24 Hours, with the Bob Aiken Award being the outstanding performance by a non-pro driver in the GTD class of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. But they have teamed up with Ben Keating, they being Risi Competizione, to have a GTE AM entry for them in a Ferrari. No other drivers have been announced. Besides Jeroen Bleekmolen. So there's one other driver that needs to be mentioned.
I was going to say, I'm fairly sure
I'm doing
that
a Rob now and skimming the article, yes.
I was going to say, I'm fairly sure that if Ben Keating's involved, one Mr. J. Bleekmolen's going to be involved as well.
Well, Jeroen Bleekmolen is a silver...
it's platinum.
Silver platinum. I made up my own driver rating. Silver platinum. Yeah.
What, silver platinum? Is that for the really sneaky silvers?
Oh, I think you've just stumbled upon something here. Yes.
Yes.
I am a silver platinum driver. Yeah, to make even things more confusing. Therefore, the slowest bronze should be the bronze lead drivers. Yes.
No. There should be a different category. Wood.
But do you want to have wood? Anyway.
What?
I don't know. It's his fault. Blame him.
What?
Yeah, I said blame him. Therefore, I'm blaming you. Anyway, moving on.
Damn it.
Any more sports car news?
Yes. Rebellion have announced their...
I take issue with that couch. Really? I prepare very hard for this podcast. It's just when I talk to them, they ruin everything. So all the planning goes out.
Yeah, it's
so
all us. Of course.
You want to blame planning. It's all them. None of it's my fault. Anyway.
Yes. Multiple sources in Daytona confirm that Rebellion are going to be running a Gibson V8 engine in the back of their Oreca chassis in LMP1 Privateer this season in WEC. It'll be the slightly enlarged version of the LMP2 engine that was oh so reliable at Daytona compared to some other engines.
Would that be the Mazda engine you're related to?
And the Nissan engine.
Nissan engine, yes.
Yes.
Well, in fairness, that Nissan engine is the GT3 engine, so,
Yes.
Not saying anything about that, but yes. I'm starting to wonder if anyone's going to start running the Mechachrome engine that was designed to be in the Ginetta.
Yes.
It appears no one has any takers on that engine. Which is surprising, really, because it's a tried engine in GP2, just with fuel injection. That's the only difference. But what do I know? I'm not a team manager, so. But there were other.
You're not?
No, because if I was, I guarantee you the team I was working for would be out of business already. Trust me, this will be a brilliant idea. Yeah, just too much money. Anyway, there was news coming out of the Toyota Gazoo Racing camp, or as I'm told to say on here, Toyota Kazuo Racing.
It's Gazoo Racing.
No, it's Kazuo.
Just to please Penta, it's Toyota Kazuo Racing.
Yes.
You know, that's the right way to say it. You want it to be that.
Okay.
Yes, and apparently some Spanish guy who was racing at Daytona has decided he'd fancy having a crack at some more sports car racing, and yes, long story short, Fernando Alonso has been confirmed at Toyota Gazoo Racing for nearly all of the WEC season, and I say nearly all because the US Grand Prix quota clashes with the Fuji 6 Hours. He's going to be in the number 8 car alongside Kazuki Nakajima and Sebastian Buemi. Anthony Davidson is now test and reserve driver, which means that he'll probably be racing at Fuji and also at Paul Ricard for the prologue, because there's a clash between the prologue and the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Jose Maria Lopez must have an ironclad contract. That's the only thing I can figure out. Whoever wrote his contract, everyone else needs to get that guy to write them contracts, because I thought just on performance alone, he would have just been like, you've crashed twice, just go do your Formula E thing, just leave us alone. But
yeah, the lineup in the number 8 is unchanged. It's still Pachito, Kamui Kobayashi, and Mike Conway. Which means the entirety of the Toyota Gazoo Racing lineup has either been an official F1 driver or an official F1 test driver.
Who was that again?
All of the drivers for Toyota Gazoo Racing have either been test drivers in F1 or raced in F1.
There you go, you see? Proving once again F1 is just a feeder series to WEC.
The WEC. Yes. Yes, it is a proper feeder series in every sense of the word. You get through F1 and then you get into proper
racing.
Your
dues in F1 and you can be a proper world champion.
Yes, proper racing. I can feel
Josh's eyes rolling into the back of his head.
So F1 and DTM have something in common. People want to go away from it to better series.
That's not true. F1 has a point. DTM has no point. There is a difference.
Well, yeah. Kind of,
a little
bit.
That point, yes. So Fred is going to be doing WEC and F1 at the same time. Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, but there was some other thing that happened today, but I can't remember.
The Formula relaunch?
Oh, yes, you mean the thing that isn't an open wheel car any longer.
It looks awesome.
Because all of its wheels are enclosed, so it's more of a sports car than anything else.
It's not fully enclosed.
You want to bet?
I've got the photos in front of me. I can't
see the top of the tire, so therefore it's...
You look at the back of the car.
By the way, the back of the car looks like a Porsche 917 with its boxed, like, rear fender wing things.
Oh, I love it.
That diffuser also is pointless, but it looks awesome.
Oh yeah, the whole car in general looks awesome, even with the blooming big jandal thing on the front of it.
You know, actually, the on the point of having the halo there, firstly, it does not look that bad, actually. But my main point about the halo being there is, what is the point of having a halo on Formula E on a car that goes deathly slow, that the rear diffuser is just a pointless appendage in
And
the
the
first
reason
place?
why it's on there is quite simply FIA mandate.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah,
I was just about
it's
to
an
get to
FIA
that
mandate.
point. Is it because
So
the FIA demands all open wheel cars or be with that? But
pretty much.
on that point, wait until IndyCar releases their aero screen or whatever they're going to call it. That looks a hell of a lot better from what I've been reading.
Hopefully
But
they
anyway.
can actually fit that to a Formula E car.
Yeah,
That's what I'm hoping anyway, but
the car looks nice, but I'm just kind of is it really an open wheel car? Because it doesn't.
One thing that is guaranteed with this, no more car swaps mid-race.
Well, that's why BMW's coming in next season.
Yeah.
They're finally going to one battery.
They're going to, no more mid-race car swaps, more power.
I still think that they should do battery swaps. That way they could go, like, ridiculously quickly for an electric car, but that's just me.
I was going to say, we did see that concept Don Panos showed at Le Mans last year.
A concept that may or may not race at 2018 Le Mans 24 Hours, but yeah.
I was going to say, if it doesn't race at 2019, I'd say maybe 2019 or 2020.
You just said 2019. You meant 2018. Then you mean 2019 or 2020.
I've got a cold. I have no idea what that's going on at the moment.
That's not an excuse.
That's not an excuse. If Ricky Taylor can have the flu and still drive his GPI car, you could suffer through reading an article. Or talking for like 2 hours. It's bearable. Anyway. Yeah, the new Formula E car looks pretty awesome. It's not a real open wheel car, though.
Did you just call it the Flu Formula E car?
I said new.
I thought you said flu for a minute.
You have the
flu. It's impeding your hearing ability, apparently.
Yes, it is.
All you can hear is sick, 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 flu, 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 flu.
For a moment, I thought you were going to say 666 there as well, but never mind.
No, now you're just musically inclined. Yes. And now I must find my Bathurst entry list that I've misplaced here on my.
Oh, here we go.
I've got mine up.
The favorite segment of the day.
And one thing I have noticed already on the Bathurst entry list.
That we're sucking at reading out entry lists, yes.
No
Where the hell did I do with it? God damn it, now I can't find it.
I need a link.
The defending champions, Maranello Motorsport, are not on the entry list, nor is the other Nissan Australia owned Nissan GTR GT3s.
Oh, this has been known for a bit that Nissan weren't coming, because their new car isn't homologated. Yet.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised about the lack of Maranello Motorsport.
That is a surprising thing, but apparently it's because they didn't have the funding to do it. But
so odd.
All that lovely McDonald's money seems to have dried up, it seems.
Yes, too much salt in the fries, that's why.
Yeah.
Boom.
Swiftly past that. I just get heartburn from hearing that.
Shall I make a start on the entry list, since I've got it up from the official website?
Aha! I have found the PDF one that reads better than the one on the website. Yeah, go on.
Alright. Bentley Team M Sport, cars number 17 and 18. These are the Pro Class GT3 cars, the full factory backs, factory drivers.
GT3, yeah.
Yeah. The big badass GT3 cars.
Yes. Go on.
The 17, driven by Stephen Kane, Guy Smith, and one Mr. Jules Gounon. And the number
yes, new Bentley boy.
Yes, and the number 18 being driven by the Three Musketeers of Andy Soucek, Maxime Soulet, and
one.
Vincent Abril. The three drivers who always seem to be closest to winning a 24-hour race in a Bentley, yet never actually managing it.
No, Josh. The new Bentley will be raced and debuted in the
Monza.
First race at Monza for the Blancpain Endurance Cup. Due to the unique way that Bathurst falls on the calendar, new GT3 cars aren't homologated in time, so they have to. If you have a new car, you have to run the previous year's spec of car because the homologation calendar doesn't fall correctly.
Yes.
Oh, at Monza, time to catch a black flag and spin out the Lamborghini with their new car.
Yeah.
But at Monza,
yes. What about Monza? Why are we talking about Monza? In fact, never mind.
GT will be back. Dakota will be back on TV, hopefully.
Oh God! Don't pander to Couch. Just move on.
Yes, I know. I apologise.
Moving past Couch's infatuation with a pit reporter, we come to the third car on the entry list, which is the number 22 Audi Sport Customer Racing Australia Audi R8 LMS of Garth Tander, Kelvin van der Linde, and Frederik Vervisch. Fourth entries, the number 37 Audi Sport Team WRT, the first time WRT are tackling this race. And an Audi R8 LMS for Robin Frintz, Stuart Leonard, and Dries Van Thor.
Yes, the new DTM driver, Robin Frintz.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's replacing Matthias Ekstrom because Ekstrom's decided to stop racing in DTM and focus on World Rallycross.
Ekstrom's decided to just go do something more interesting for Audi.
Poor Robin.
Yes, which involves running his own race teams. So, yes, best of luck to him.
Factory money in a wonderful Audi S1 or A1, yeah.
I think it's an S1.
S1, A1, same car, different letter, yeah.
Yeah. The fifth car on the entry list is the number 43 BMW Team Schnitzer M6 GT3 for Augusto Farfus, Chaz Moster, and Marco Wittmann.
Welcome return to Schnitzer to the mountain because they won Bathurst No, they competed in the Bathurst 1000 and one of the 635 CSIs.
Oh, the JPS car.
Yes.
John Player Specials.
John Player Special livery on that BMW, but they're returning to the mountain for the longest time. But probably a sneaky favorite to win.
Yes.
The race because Schnitzer know how to win endurance races. But the next entry is number 56, Mercedes AMG Team Straka Racing, Mercedes AMG GT3 of Maximilian Buch. Yes. Well, tell that to Mercedes AMG factory teams, because that's the names that they have to carry.
Yes.
Maximilian Buch, Maximilian Gutz, and Alvaro Perez, who is just branching out to every GT3 car this season.
He wants to try them all.
He's just decided, you know what, I've had enough of driving McLarens. I want to taste the rainbow of GT3 cars. This past weekend, driving a mid-engine Acura. This weekend, driving a front-engine Mercedes AMG.
I mean,
and I think driving
if
a
they had the
Bentley.
chance.
Well, this is true. I just think it's quite funny. For a long time was a McLaren factory driver. Now he's just like, oh, I'll get to drive here and I'll get to drive there. Oh, he's also doing a Bentley later this year for Game
World Challenge.
Rally World Challenge.
Yes. Oh dear. And speaking of which, number 58 YNA Autosport McLaren 650S GT3 has Shane van Gisbergen, Craig Lowndes, and Combe Lederjar in it, and with van Gisbergen trying not to crash this year.
Yeah, maybe he just needs to return scenery to McLaren's because he's quite well in McLaren's.
Yes, including winning the Blancpain Endurance Series title in a McLaren despite not actually being at the circuit, yes. And quite literally on the other side of the world. He still managed to win the title, which was quite
somehow.
Yes.
just shows you that was the season the McLarens were good, yeah.
Yeah. Car number 8 on the list is the number 74 Audi Sport Customer Racing Audi R8 LMS of one Christopher Mies, one Christopher Haase, and one Marcus Winkelhock.
I'm disappointed they didn't go with a third Christopher.
Yes, that would have been much better.
Yes. And then Straka could have a Maximilian car as well. They had another one. Anyway.
Yes.
The number
Maximilian Verstappen?
75. Yeah, well. Is he named Maximilian?
His full name is, yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought his just name was Max. But, yes. I'm not mentioning him because he's not on the entry list. But moving to the number 75. Mercedes AMG Team Sun Energy One Racing. Mercedes AMG GT3.
AKA the Tide Pod car from Daytona.
I don't know if it's the same livery or not. So.
God damn it. Come on, please look like a Tide Pod.
But if it does, it looks very lovely. That livery is awesome.
Clearly taking inspiration from the GTHub colour scheme.
Of course.
Yes.
We take 5% royalties.
I need a GTHub sticker kind of stick it on the car when they come to Long Beach or Laguna.
I'll get you 5.
Actually just Laguna, not because they're not going to Long Beach. But Kenny Hobble, Tristan Vautier, the defending winner of Jamie Wynn Cup, and the addition late of Raffaele Marciello to be driver number 4.
Yes, because they decided they needed a 4th driver to make up for the fact that Kenny Hobble is actually an AM driver.
Well, he pays the bills, he gets to sit.
Yes.
The number 100 BMW Team SRM BMW M6 GT3 of Stephen Richards, Timo Glock, and Philip Eng.
Very controversial car last year.
Was it because it had yellow wheels?
No, because of the... Was it the 100 or was it another car where Glock was in who crashed into somebody else on top of the hill?
Oh, was Timo Glock in the same car? You know what? I think you might be right about that. Yeah, I think it wasn't the same 100.
I'm not sure. I know it was Glock, but I don't know if it was the same car.
Oh wait, no, wasn't Glock in the
Turner? No, not Turner.
No, he was in the second BMW Team SRM car for the Vodafone car for the Bathurst Legends.
The one which had Russell Ingall, Mark Scaife, and t'other bloke in it. Tony Longhurst, that's the one.
Right.
Oh, okay, so he wasn't in that car then, or was he?
I think Glock was in with Scaife, Longhurst, and Ingall.
Yeah, so he was in the legend car, as I call it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Castrol Backs car, I think it was.
Yeah, and I think
Castrol Vodafone, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Widman was in the SRM car last year.
With Mostert, I think, yeah. But yes, moving past that, we come to Porsche Corner, which is the 911 Mansai Racing Porsche 911 GT3R of Romain Dumas, Frederick Makavicki, and Dirk Werner, and the number 991 Porsche 911 GT3R of Kraft Bamboo Racing and Earl Bamber, Kevin Estre, and Lawrence Van Thor. They've brought the whole team. Porsche has brought the whole factory squad to the mountain to do battle, which is quite nice of them. You know, why not? Really? Yeah. Hopefully the Manti livery remains on that car. The bright fluorescent yellow or green or whatever color that is. Yes, but moving to the first of the Pro-Am cars is the number 8 of Scott Taylor Motorsport, the Mercedes-AMG GT3 of Max Twigg, Craig Baird, and Antonio D'Alberto? Oh no, Tony D'Alberto. Yeah, Antonio threw me off there. I was like, who's Antonio D'Alberto? Next, we come to the number 9 of Audi Sport Customer Racing Australia, Audi RLMS of Mark Shinny, Lee Holdsworth, and Dean Fiore. We come to the second McLaren of the number 11 Objective Racing, McLaren 650 SGT3, of Tony Walls, Warren Luff, Tim Slade, and Jackson Evans, which is a sneaky pick for Pro-Am honors, I think. Other than, of course, probably the favorite for Pro-Am, being the number 12 Competition Motorsports Porsche 911 GT3R of David Calvert-Jones, Patrick Long, Matt Campbell, and Alex Davison.
Yeah, they got a podium overall last year with
And the
with
Pro-Am class, yes.
with Calvert-Jones, Long, Campbell, and of course Mark Lieb as well.
Yeah. The last drive as a Porsche factory driver for Mark Lieb. That one, yeah. Because he was supposed to be coming this year's race, but he got booted by David Calvert-Jones.
More on Mark Lieb later.
Ooh, you know things I don't. Excellent.
Yes, more on him later. Yes, the next entry after that is the 19 Corp PL Mercedes GT of Davy Reynolds, John Martin, Liam Talbot, and Mark Griffith. That's another strong lineup as well, actually. After that, we got the number 29 Trofeo Motorsport Lamborghini Huracan of Jim Manolius, Ryan Miller, Dean Canto, and one Mr. Ivan Capelli, the former Leighton House and Ferrari F1 driver.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. So there is at least one Huracan GT3, the rest being Gallardo GT3 REXs of Reiter Engineering, which apparently is just where all the Reiter and engineering Gallardos have gone. They've all been shipped to Australia to live out a second life, apparently. They're all here.
Yep, they sure are. Roger Largo, David Russell, and Stephen Owen driving a Largo Racing Gallardo REX for Largo Racing. Team WRT also have a Pro-Am class entry with an R8 LMS for Will Davison, and the Aston Martin WEC lineup who were moonlighting in a Ferrari last weekend of none of the usual suspects of Pedro Lamy, Paul Galilano, and Matthias Lauda.
Apparently another group of guys are just going, we tried a Ferrari, let's try the Audi now.
Yeah, we'll just come
why
over
not?
here for some fun. Yeah, why not?
Sample another car, why not?
Yeah. Got off seasons are awfully long these days. Got some time to kill, might as well test out a couple of different other cars.
Yeah, why not? Really? Brand loyalty, schmand loyalty, yes.
Yeah.
We come now to the number 47 YNA Autosport McLaren 60S GT3, the second for them. Scott McLaughlin, Fraser Ross, Andrew Watson, and Alexander West. Now, this was probably another sneaky favorite, because this has the full season pairing that was in Australian GT with Fraser Ross and
Scotty McLaughlin.
Yeah, well, was he with them for the full? I can't remember if he was with the full Aussie GT, but yes, that was the.
Yeah.
And now we come to the 82 of International Motorsport.
You've missed one.
Have I? Oh, my
55
apologies.
Straka.
Yes, go on.
Mercedes for Nick Leventis, Lewis Williamson.
No. You must read out the full title.
Straka Racing Mercedes AMG GT3. That's what it says on the entry here.
The entry is the number 55. Mercedes AMG Team Straka Racing Mercedes AMG GT3. Of Nick Leventis, Lewis Williamson, Cameron Waters, and David Fumanelli. Hey, that's what it says on the entry. That's what the entry is.
Yeah. Oh, it's all right.
I'm not the one who insists on having a gigantic blurb for a team name, so don't get mad at me.
There's another Audi R8 LMS. It's the number 82 International Motorsport entry for Andrew Bagnall, Matthew Halliday, and Johnny Reed. And now we come to
any of those guys.
And now we come to the 540. Which is another sneaky Pro-Am entry for Black Swan Racing. It's a 911 GT3R for Tim Pappas, Jeroen Bleekmolen, Lucas Stoltz, and one Mr. Mark Lieb.
Oh, so that's where Mark Lieb has gone. Because Calvert-Jones switched from the Black Falcon car. Black Swan, excuse me, wrong bird. So Mark Lieb went there. But isn't Lucas Stoltz for a factory Mercedes driver?
I guess.
Or isn't he? I don't know. Maybe
I
he's
don't know,
not.
but
He just sounds
either
like one of
way.
those names. But yeah,
Yeah.
either way, he's in the Black Swan Racing, green and black and silver Porsche.
Yes.
And now we come to the last of the Pro-Am GT3 entries, which is the 777. Buick, or is it bulk?
Buick.
B-U-I-K? Buick.
Buick.
Motorworks. No. The Buick Motorworks Lamborghini Gallardo GT3 REX of Yasser Shaheen, Luke Yulden, and really sneaky driver in Thomas Enga. So he's ended up in one of the Ryder cars, just not the KTM. He's ended up in the full fat Ryder car, yes. So that is the end of the Pro-Am entries, and now we come to the wow. Okay, so there's Pro-Am, and then there's just the True-Ams, which are just 3.
3 Ams.
So all 3 of them will get a podium, guaranteed.
Yay! Happy days.
As long as they finish, happy days for everyone. Which is the 3 AM entries, which is the number 3, Audi Sport Custom Racing Australia, Audi R8 LMS of Ash Samadi, Daniel Gaunt, and Dylan O'Keefe. The number 6, Safe T-Stop, Lamborghini Gallardo, because that's how it's written, Safe-T-Stop, Lamborghini Gallardo of Richard Gartner, Hadrian Morrow, David Wall, and John Bowie.
John Bow.
Bow? I thought it was Bowie. Is it Bow?
Yeah.
My apologies. I always say his name Bowie because it looks like Bowie, but yes, okay, Bow. It's that E at the end. And the final AM entry is the number 69 Audi Sport Customer Racing Australia Audi R LMS of of James Konduras, Theo Konduras, Ash Walsh, and Duvashin Pariachi, who is switching over to a Audi from a Porsche, which is interesting.
Yes. The first of the Class B entries for the Porsche Cup cars.
It's all Porsches, yes. It's all Porsche Cups.
Is the Grove Motorsport PTY LTD car. Just listed here as a Porsche GT3 Cup for Stephen Grove, Brenton Grove, and one Mr. Ben Barker.
In the wonderful Australian national colours with a boxing kangaroo on the side. Fantastic liveried car. For those who haven't seen it, it's wonderful.
That's car number 4. Car number 21 is the JFC Carter Grange Porsche 911 for Daniel Stuttard, Sam Fillmore, and the legend, which is TBA.
Oh, the wonderful, the honourable TBA, yes.
Aye. Car number 23 is the Team Carrera Cup Asia Porsche 991 for Paul Tressida, Chris Vanderdrift, Andrew Tang, and Chen E. Fan.
I'm sorry, which one was this?
That was the 23 Team Carrera Cup Asia Porsche.
Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot they were entering one. All right.
Yeah. The 4th car in class is the on-track motorsport Porsche 997 GT3 Cup of Gary Menel, Keen Brooker, Aaron Zephyros, and Mark Kane. And finally...
I thought it was Zeraphos.
Zeraphos, rather.
Yes.
And finally we have
the number 85 Wall Racing, the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup of the familiar trio, the American trio of Charles Putman, Charles Espelab, and Joe Foster, who are just everywhere. But nice to see them back in a Porsche. See, they're going back to their familiar location now. It was odd seeing them in a Mercedes.
They've come home.
Dubai. They've come home to their Cup car, yes. Right. We're not going to read off the rest of them unless we find the interesting ones. We'll read off the entries, but not all the drivers, because we're getting complaints about reading the entries. So, we come
when
to
have you ever had complaints about reading the entire entry list?
Ask the chat. But yes, starting with the Class C.
That was a joke, by the way, everyone.
Oh, I couldn't tell. But yes, going to Class C, which is all GT4s, we have the number 13 RHC Lawrence Strom, in brackets, Mark GT, BMW M4 GT4, which has a very interesting lineup of Darren Eric Jorgensen, Cameron Lawrence, Brett Strom, and Kuno Whitmer. I wasn't even aware Cameron Lawrence or Kuno Whitmer were entered in here, but okay.
I think now Cameron Lawrence said, I think it was Shea Adam during the Rolex 24 that he was doing Daytona. It might have been the Rolex 24, it might have been the BMW Endurance Challenge. In a pit lane interview, he actually mentioned that he was also doing Bathurst.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't hear that part, but all right. Next, we have the number 15 Byjet Motorsport BMW M4 GT4. The number 30 of Boatworks Racing BMW M4 GT4 of Aaron Seaton, one Mr. Matt Brabham, and Anthony Longhurst. Yes.
Oh, the
good old Matty Brabham is back.
The offspring of some of Australia's most renowned drivers.
Is in GT4 car.
Yep.
On Mount Panorama, where it belongs. Yes. And now we come to a works car in the shape of the number 44 BMW Team SRM BMW M4 GT4 of Dean Grant, Javier West, or Xavier West? Something like that? Sure, let's go with that. And Cameron Hill.
We're good at this.
I'm rubbish at the reading names, apparently. But I can pronounce Russian names, go figure.
Yes. I'm even worse at reading names and pronouncing names.
You're just worse at speaking in general, but yeah. The number 46, Pro Sport Performance, GABH, whatever that means. Porsche came in Pro 4. No idea what Pro 4 means, but
Sif will probably tell us later.
This is that hand-built Cayman, isn't it? Yeah, that's what that one is. Before Porsche had a factory GT4 car. That's what that is. I've answered my own question. Yes. Now we move into the KTMs with the number 48 M Motorsport KTM Crossbow GT4 and number 49 KTM M Sport KTM Crossbow GT4. And rounding out Class C is the 3 Ginetta G55. Oh, there's one G50. Which are all TBAs.
I think I saw on Twitter that Will Tregurtha might be. I think Will Tregurtha might be in one of the Ginettas.
Okay, that's the 77, the 88, and the 111 of Ginetta Australia.
Yes.
Which are mostly TBAs. So yes.
The same for the number 33 Mark Carr's Australia entry. It's got a very strong lineup of TBA, and TBA. So, I mean, we all know TBA is an absolutely fair income driver behind the wheel of a race car. So
apparently, yes. But now we come to the really interesting bit in Class I, which is the invitational class for endurance spec cars. The first of the interesting ones is that we have the number 54 Mark Carr's Australia Mark II V8, which is basically a really badass looking brand new Mustang.
It is proper.
It is a properly good looking car.
And if it sounds like the other Mark cars, Mazdas and Ford Focuses, then happy days.
Josh, can you put up a picture of the Mark V8 too, just to show the people? As he mocks my pronunciation of Xavier or whatever the fuck it is.
We've got a request here from Walter asking if we can repeat the entry list.
Oh God, please no.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid we don't actually really have the time this evening for that, I'm afraid.
Nor do I have the will to do so. Yeah.
I don't think my throat would actually hold up for long enough to do that. So.
But look, we've just found the time now. No, I was kidding.
Damn it.
Yeah, but the number 54 Mark Carr's Australia Mark II V8. There's 3 of them in the race. There's the number 67 and the number 91, who are also Mark II V8s. There are the inclusion of the 65 and 66 Daytona sports car entries. which is a bespoke built, really lovely looking Daytona coupe that kind of looks like an old Shelby Cobra thing. There you go. There's a Mark II V8. Look at that outstanding thing. It's wonderful. But yes, the Daytona coupe is hand built and badass and American Australian creation.
Just top notch badassery, basically.
Basically, yes. And their second entry is an old school. Speaking of old school entries, a Daytona Viper competition coupe. Homologated to GT3 spec.
Bloody hell! I can remember when those things were racing over here in British GT. What, 11 years ago now?
Well, funny you say that. I believe the Viper that's running here in Australia is one of the ex-British GT race-winning chassis.
I think there is because I think they once actually had a British GT Viper in the main shopping mall in my hometown in the south of England.
What, just randomly?
Yeah, to promote the British GT race that was coming up at Thruxton. At the time back when they used to race British GT at Thruxton, of course, they don't now because the GT3 cars are way too quick and the GT4 cars are practically borderline in terms of what you'd actually feel comfortable in driving around there, racing rather.
Yes. But,
given the nature of that circuit.
Yes, as you ramble about Thruxton. Yeah, basically the rest of the Class I is just a class made for Mark Cars Australia, it seems, because that's all that's on there. There's three Mazda V8s, and then there's two Mazda V8s, two Mark Focus V8s. So yes.
Someone's hacking the mainframe.
Oh no,
no,
we
I'm
must
just
hack
typing.
deeper.
No, it's just me trying to type.
Trying? Okay. You must be failing then.
No, there's no spelling mistakes in there, so all's good.
Yes. Okay. Oh, well done, Rob. Well done on that comment.
Thank you.
But yes, that is the end of the... Sorry, go on.
So I was going to say, for those who can't see the comment I just put, I said about the Mustang, Mark Cars Mustang, watch out when leaving Cars and Coffee in that thing.
I'm sure that you most of you know that. No, you're not singing. Stop. You've been corrected in the chat. There you go.
God damn it.
But anyway, that was the end of the Liquimali Bathurst 12-hour entry list for the weekend. And you all thought we were going to take forever reading that entry list. You see, we can do things in a quick, snappy thing. Quick, snappy fashion.
Because I'm here ruling with my iron fist.
Funny, I don't feel the furious nature of your fist, but okay.
Not yet. Later.
I'm afraid. But yes, wow, I just noticed that massive diffuser on the back of that car.
Winga-dinga-dinga.
God damn it. Oh, no.
No. This box cheats emissions tests.
Talking about emissions tests, I know this is kind of like not on the topic list, but have you heard, I don't know if it reached the news.
We're on topic.
No, I'm going off topic. Have you guys heard about the news that apparently major...
Regrettably, yes.
All right, you do know things that I don't know.
It's bloody abhorrent, quite frankly.
Okay, you're just going to talk about something I've never heard of, but yeah, go on.
Major car companies apparently did emissions testing on monkeys and also humans.
What major car company would this be?
No, it was multiple ones.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes me feel a lot better, actually.
So this is kind of like...
As opposed, if we're going to be liable for something, might as well go full hog and just, go for every single one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm not going to go on that because I don't want to know, actually.
I haven't read up on it. It's just all over the news, and it's like
I haven't seen about it, but yeah. So, well, we went through that rather quickly. I run out of things to talk about. I'm sure Rob has something because he always does randomly after the fact.
that's true.
Yes, I'm just waiting for it to load.
He has found something.
Yes, I have found stuffs.
What on earth is? Oh, Josh is trying to reframe the picture. That's what's happening.
Just waiting.
You can make it even bigger, Rob. Josh.
Yes. In other news, Busan Gignon Racing have confirmed.
Who?
Boots and Gignon Racing
Boots and
have
Gignon
confirmed
Racing.
2 Honda Civics for WTCR.
Boo! It's WTCR. Boo!
Yes, and Gabriele Tarquini's teammate has been confirmed in a Hyundai, and it's one Mr. Norbert Michelis.
I'm not happy. That cuts off the back of the car, Josh. Wrong.
Yeah.
All wrong now. You went too big.
Just so you don't have black borders.
This looks like an awful wallpaper on someone's computer. Oh, it's too big now. It's cut off the entire image. Anyway, sorry. What was that about Hyundai and TCR?
Yeah, there's as you're not allowed factory teams in WTCR, you're getting a situation I think now similar to GT3 where we have semi-factory teams, and one of those is going to feature Gabriele Tarquini and Norbert Michelis.
Now it's upside down. Okay, great. Well, it is.
That's what we get for complaining.
Actually, no, he's done it right because it's Australia, so therefore it would be upside down.
Oh yeah,
yes,
yeah.
It's the right way up now.
It's
Yes,
the right way up now. Yes.
Yeah, leave it as it is, mate. Leave it as it is. It's right way up now. Joking.
All Australians now hate us. Fantastic.
Yes. Yes, indeed, they do. Oh yeah, that's another piece of news. I found actually a couple of more pieces of news. Actually, 3 more pieces of news.
Well, make up your mind. You have 2 or 3.
3. Okay, we'll start off with WEC news. Jan Lammers has been confirmed for Le Mans this June for his 24th Le Mans start for the Racing Team Netherlands entry alongside Frits van Aert and Guido van der Garde.
Guido van der Garde.
Yes, the 61-year-old who won the race overall in 1988 in a Jaguar XJR9.
What, Guido van der Garde, 61 years old? I never knew.
No, Jan Lammers is.
I know, I was kidding. The way
Lammers...
you said it was just kind of unfortunately timed.
Yes, Lammers said that in the press release, Fritz owes it to his ambitions to gather the fastest drivers around him. I may be quick for my age, but if after Le Mans a fast and young successor will be available, I will step back in the interest of the team and the results.
Nonsense. He should be racing till the end of time.
Yes, he's actually a bronze-graded driver now as well.
Of course, see? Jan Lammers is an absolute legend. He should be driving until he dies, really.
Yes. In North American racing news, Townsend Bell...
Ooh, tell me more.
Yes, he's had most of his racing memorabilia stolen in a burglary.
Oh no!
Or as you call it, a burglary.
A burger?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
It includes 10 rings from his Indy 500 starts, his ring for winning the 2001 Indy Lights Championship, the Rolex he won for winning the 2015 GTD title in IMSA, and the Rolex from his 2014 GTD class win at the Rolex 24 for, I believe it was level 5.
Oh, that's okay. He can lose a 2014 one.
Yes.
It's been tainted with the stink and stain of one
Scott Tucker.
Tucker, yes.
Yes. Yes, so that is that. And also some sad news. Jerry Snever passed away.
Who?
Snaver. Tom Snever's younger brother, also a former IndyCar driver. Snever, that's the one. I can't pronounce names. But yeah, Jerry passed away at the age of 68. Rookie of the Year at the Indy 500 in 1977.
Wow, I had not read that. That's bad.
Yeah, there's reading about 1983. He returned to Indy with a car that would not handle. He crashed at 5:57 p.m. on a practice day. The car was fixed overnight and he hit the wall again shortly after 11 a.m. the following morning. He joked afterwards that it's a new track record for the 2 fastest crashes ever.
Yeah, that's probably true, actually, yeah.
Yes, he said, he then added, "My crew chief keeps telling me there's an invisible 200 miles per hour barrier I've got to drive through, and I keep telling him there's nothing invisible about that wall in turn 1.
This is true.
Yes. When the car was repaired again, he got in and the throttle stuck as the engine was fired up. He hit the kill switch and nothing happened, so they finally stuffed a few rags into the injectors to kill the power. He calmly climbed out of the car, took off his helmet and headed for lunch, returned, got back in the car and made one more lap at 40 miles an hour before retiring on the spot."
All right, then.
Yeah. His best ever finish in an IndyCar race was 4th place at Pocono.
Oh, I'm also getting told by Josh that the head of the Australian Grand Prix, Ron Walker, has died as well.
Yes, I read that. I saw something about that briefly on Twitter earlier. And of course, our thoughts and condolences to the families.
Yes. There was one more bit of news I can't remember. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, the bringing it back to the Bathurst entry. I meant to say this earlier, but there are 9 former Bathurst 12-hour winners in the field. There are 9 Bathurst 1000 winners. There are 4 supercars champions, and there are a total of 401 Australian Touring Car Championship / Supercars wins represented in the field. Which just shows you the stacked quality of it, really.
Yes. That is an awful lot.
Yes, it is an awful lot. Someone is saying something about the Race of Champions, but who cares since it's in Saudi Arabia where it doesn't belong.
Exactly.
Oh, wait, hang on. Couch is telling me one of the people in the Race of Champions is a Dutchman by the name of Rudy van Buren. Or Van Buren, whatever. Van Buren?
I don't know.
Rudy van Buren, who is apparently the winner of McLaren's Fastest Gamer contest. But, good for him, I guess. Still shouldn't be in Saudi Arabia, but... I didn't even know it was... That's how poor it is. I didn't even know it was on this weekend.
I didn't even care, frankly.
Well, it was awesome in Miami, but I had no idea Race of Champions was happening this weekend. Should be in Miami, actually. That was a pretty cool track, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But anyway, we should end on how we typically would end, with the calendar news, which is, besides the Bathurst 12-hour...
final round of Asian Le Mans Series.
Right, I almost nearly forgot about that.
4 hours of Sepang, and there is, of course, Formula E this weekend. Yay!
Only because that's your job, apparently.
Yes,
don't fuck up, please.
Yes, it's
no, Penta. You mean don't fuck up. FACH, like the race team. We gotta be clean here, people. I think I killed him now. Excellent.
Yeah.
He somehow managed to catch the same cold which Josh and I have.
Excellent. I look forward to having it in a bit.
I don't get sick.
No,
I don't.
Toucan
I just
never gets sick.
I just Ricky Taylor it, mate. Or is that Jordan Taylor?
No, it's Ricky Taylor. You've
Ricky.
even forgotten the wrong Taylor brother.
Yes. It's Santiago E-Prix. It's on a it's a new venue for Formula E. It's on a 2.462 kilometer track, 1.5 miles. It looks like it's got a few good overtaking spots actually as well.
I guess I haven't seen the layout of the track. I must admit I follow the series, but not that closely.
Yeah,
Shame on you.
Well, I'm sorry. They have a schedule that just happens randomly. We're like, oh, we're gonna have a clash here and a clash here. Be like, why? But anyway, yeah, that's happening this weekend. So I must now, after this is over, find what channel Fox is deciding to broadcast this on now. Luckily, it's only an hour, so hey. But yeah, other than that, is there anything else happening? No, huh?
I was going
No.
to say. Nah.
Yes? Okay. I thought you were going to say something important. No, you were just going to say, no. But yes, on this rather quick episode of the GTHub podcast, unless there's anything else that anyone wants to bring up from the chat that we can answer,
Yes.
is there anything that we need to answer there?
Toyota Racing Series.
Josh
What
is
even
saying,
is the Toyota Racing Series, actually? I
Josh,
have no idea what that is.
it's another one of those bloody Winter Series things. And everyone...
Captain Encyclopedia. Thank you. No, apparently no one on this podcast knows what the hell the Toyota Racing Series is. So never mind.
Oh, it's right up your alley then. It's like some Formula 3 knockoff.
Oh, God. I've just been told it's a winter F3 series, so I desperately do not care.
His Imperial and Royal Highness...
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I was going to say, unfortunately, there is going to be no Natarude Charwin Sukortana in this series. Who?
Who? Again, who?
What series?
What series is this?
Formula Renault 3.5 was a waste of space and
if
time last year. I saw it at Silverstone.
I have barely heard of Formula Renault 3.5. You think listing Formula Renault Euro Cup 3. Whatever the hell it is will make me remember who he is?
3.141592. There you go, Formula Pi.
Oh, I want Formula Pi. It sounds delicious.
Hell yeah!
Anyway, on this rambling note, I think we really should end. Thank you for bearing with our rambling.
Oh, this is...
As I can't even speak any longer. So yes, we really are going to end now. Goodbye.
Wanga dinga dinga dinga.
This box adds 10 horsepower.
Grand
Come on,
made
it's my
big
voice.
and